crazy horse energy do. Though crazy horse energy will run that fade and they will put one in you.
Yeah.
Right? But crazy horse energy understand the power of us as a collective unit and don't want to go to war with the soldiers from the bloodlines.
That's what he was trying
So
to do.
it'll find a way out of that conflict. Right? So I don't think he was necessarily a bully. He just didn't back down. Right? He didn't say he want a problem, but when you say you want a problem, he like 50 Cent. He say, no problem. Right? In California culture, if you speak on somebody's business, you got to be ready to stand on it as the truth or admit that it's the lie.
That's cold.
If you can't stand on what you blow out your head, they gonna box your face. Ain't no backing down once you said the wrong thing to the one that they sent to correct you. You shouldn't have put my name in my business out in the street. That's Cali culture.
Yeah, that's right, Rod. You right.
Right. So when you understand I don't even live in California, but I got relatives out there, and I know people who were born and raised there that end up moving this way and discuss the culture. I'm able to understand the mechanics of their culture. So that when I do decide that I want to go to LA or I want to go to the Bay, or if I want to go to the Valley, I'm welcome because they know I'm not going to disrespect the tribal culture that's natural to the land. Right. Now, I might disrespect their police and their governor because they don't belong here.
Right.
But they going to be cheering me on if I do because they know they don't belong here. Right? They just don't know what we were supposed to be doing at the OG level of making the alliances and informing the youth so as they don't keep making the same repeated mistakes of taking their allies off the battlefield in friendly fire.
Right.
So our natural culture made us, the ones who didn't go to the military, learn military strategy, fighting streets and war in the streets.
Yeah.
We still got to learn how to defend the land. What if they dismantle the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines right now? Whose responsibility is going to be to secure the land? Right. The tribes. Don't nobody else got that responsibility. Anybody else that's securing and protecting the land right now, thank you. But that ain't their job. That's the tribe's job. We are the ones with territorial jurisdiction to govern over the land. Right? We the ones that's supposed to have the final say in what form of government is ran across the land. If they're going to be isolated communities or if they're going to be a unified network. That's supposed to be our responsibility. But since they told us we from somewhere else, when we do start forming the tribe, we don't know what to do next. So the delirious part of the restructuring or reformation of the tribes come in when the government used that delirium to villainize them and turn their own people philosophically against them as if they are the negative current and the cause for all the problems. When they actually the recipient of the most problems by being displaced in the first place.
Right.
Right? So the remedy is always put the people in the places they supposed to be and the machine will run the way it's supposed to run. Only the one competent to lead in the particular area is the leader of that area. Everybody who's not a specialist under that person sit back and take instructions to aid and assist in the success of us all. Right now, you might have this chief out there, but next week it might be a different chief telling you more stuff to do to bring us back into the position of prominence on the land. Right? You got now in 2025, just 5 short years ago, it was only a skeleton crew of us telling these people that we know the truth now.
Yeah.
We know who we are. We know we didn't come on those ships. We was already here.
Right.
Right? That skeleton crew back then was enough to ignite the flame of understanding in the minds of the masses of the lost tribes.
Uh-huh.
Right? And that's why Tupac said, all you lost tribe MFers, I'm talking to y'all. I'm trying to put y'all on my back. Who he talking about? Right? So when we start looking at it now compared to the skeleton crew, it's a full-fledged workforce pushing the truth to the forefront with the receipts. Don't believe me, check it out.
Right.
You also have to have somebody that's trying to dispute what you're saying and override the accurate receipts from the people contemporary with the invasion. So they gonna tell you that just because they on the Dawes Road don't make them a $5 Indian. They was always here. That's not true. Some of them were, but most of them wasn't.
Yeah.
The few that were was used to teach the ones who wasn't how to pretend to be us, even if they didn't know they was teaching it.
Right.
Because they study us so that they can try to train somebody that's not us to pretend to be us. So when they tell us we from somewhere else, we say, oh, we must be because these people from over here, and all the time we know where we from.
Biggest game, man. That was a good game right there. That was a good move. Because they couldn't just they had to do it how they did it, or it wouldn't have worked. They had to bring in imposters to play us, or they wouldn't have been able to pull the whole trick off like they did.
Right. Why do you think they started whitewashing? Because they wanted us to believe that the pale faces of Europe was the ones behind all of the dirt.
Yeah.
And once we believe that, then we believe that white is a ranking system and not a legal terminology.
Yeah.
Right? As soon as we think it's a ranking system, then the superior being white, we don't know that we giving the ones that's hiding behind the pale faces carte blanche to misuse and abuse us. As long as they put it in the public domain, they allowed to do to us whatever we allow them to do.
That brings me to my next question, Rod, because it ties in kind of what you was just talking about the politics in California and the rules on the land. Now, when in Rome, do as Romans do. Now, I done been to a lot of them places, like areas where they say, well, you know, this is a place where you can't go. You know, like if you ain't from around here, you only need to come over there. But I go over there, I don't have no problems. So because I'm in Rome, I do as the Romans do. You know what I'm saying? So, could you go in on that, like, because they talking about territorial areas where they say do you know where you at? You out here throwing, twisting your fingers like that? You in the wrong area for that. You know what I'm saying?
What it is it's the respect of cultures.
Okay.
If you are solid in the culture you from, and you understand how to respect the different tribes in your local area, you're going to understand that when you go to a foreign part of the land that you're not from, that in order for you to get along with the people from the area, you have to respect their brand.
Yeah.
You have, I was raised GD from birth. So I go hang out with Stones in Chicago like brothers. Vice Lords. We be sitting around, we be putting in work together, as they say. Right? But I ain't never changed my true blue status. They know I was folks when they was dealing with me. I wasn't false flagging. I knew they was Stones and Lords when I was dealing with them. Right? Because there's no secret. But I know how to respect your land. I'm in Motown.
Yeah.
Anybody in Chicago know Motown is Jeff Fort's stomping ground. That's his territory. Like the center point. Like it's called Motown because they call the Stones Modes.
Right.
It's a little stretch on 50th of GDs that's about 2 blocks long, where my region Oilyhead was from. When I moved over there with my Aunt Maggie. So I understood that culture enough to know how to be respectful to the stones on their own land. I can't come in your house and don't wipe my feet on the rug or take my shoes off when I'm going across your white carpet. That's called disrespect. When you're in other people's house, you abide by the basic rules of decency and respect. You hardly ever have a real problem. But when you go over there with arrogant and I'm the only real NIGGA in the world, the rest of these suckers fake, you're gonna end up coming out of there on a body bag or a stretcher.
Yeah.
You got the wrong mentality to be visiting other people's house. You don't want to wipe your foot on the rug because you say it ain't your grandmama's house. You don't care about his. You're supposed to be going to see him. Why would you not have the same respect for his grandmama as you got for yours?
Right.
So some of us learn this at an early age, and we integrate with other tribes easily. This is how we learn the culture from different parts of the land, so that when it comes time to wake the tribes up, we can clearly explain Mississippi culture is right next to New Orleans and it's not New Orleans culture.
No.
It's a different culture altogether. But look how close they are. But anybody that can survive in New Orleans know how to respect the land anywhere they go. That was the training ground. That's why it was called the Big Easy.
Right.
Because it put you on easy street when you know how to get all of that melting pot of tribes that then form sub tribes across the wards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every parish got an own little swag to it. Every little housing development got its own swag to it. And if you know how to go to New Orleans and go from different parts of the town and peacefully coexist with all of those different cultures that's within that one geography, they can set you free anywhere on the land and you'll be able to survive because you know how to give respect.
Yeah.
That's what it boiled down to. We used to check in at the barbershop. That's why Basin Street is one block over, a couple blocks over from Bourbon Street. Basin Street goes to the basin tubs that you used to use to clean your body.
That's right.
Then they used to have the barbershops and the shower shops. And the first one you get to was the barbershop because the bathtub was there when you coming out of the fields of different parts of the land. Right? You get cleaned up down Basin Street. By the time you get to the end, you been bought new clothes, new shoes, got your hair done, got your whatever, pedicure, got your cologne, your lotion, all that was what that was. It was to get cleaned up so that you can go drink it on Bourbon Street. Now they didn't commercialize it and the culture has found a new way to express itself and it left to the tourists the legend of what used to be Bourbon Street and Basin Street. It became a tourist attraction. But you still not gonna stop them second line marching Indians, the Mardi Gras Indians, which come from many different tribes. Mardi Gras, Happy Tuesday, right? The day of celebration. And this day of celebration, they come out and they've been doing it for thousands of years, dressed in their regalia that they took all year making. Everybody want to put on a good showing. But watch that fancy footwork as they try to cross the land. They telling you something. They telling you you've been here the whole time. You ain't never left. That's why Mardi Gras look like Cinco de Mayo. That's why Cinco de Mayo look like a Death Day version of Los Carnival. It's all the same, different parts of the culture expressing the same activity in a different way. You got it going on in Haiti. You got it going on in Jamaica, the Virgin Islands, St. Croix, St. Lucia, Grenada. It's going on everywhere that the tribes ain't never stopped being who they was. They just got renamed on paper. Paper genocide.
Yep. Yep. That brings me to my next question, Rod, because somebody said, man, make sure you ask Rod this question because y'all on there talking about all this and y'all ain't talking about what Trump doing right now. And I'm telling them, man, we already told you everything about Trump. We didn't told you from the root of the toot on what the Trump got going. But so for the guys that asked this question 2000, why y'all ain't talking about Trump? Could you go in on what you got on Trump for the other? You know, he attacked Iran, somebody. You know, we already told him everything on Trump. But
remember when I told you when I said saving Israel for last, right?
Yeah.
And when they went into and bombed Iran, I told you like a couple days before it happened, I say Netanyahu gonna do something to tick Trump off. Remember me saying that?
Yeah.
Right. Then Trump on the news cursing, using profanity. Right? Mad because he's saying neither one of them know what the F they're doing. Right? Israel ticked him off. It's all part of the script of them pushing the morals and dogma down our throat. All you gotta do is go to Morals and Dogma and read about World War III. It's telling you exactly what they're doing.
Hey, for the person that's making a comment about the Fat Tuesday, well, he said celebrate Tuesday, but it's Fat Tuesday. He know that, and then really, to be honest with you, Fat Tuesday started in like 1669, and actually we didn't celebrate Fat Tuesday. What it was Mardi Gras was it wasn't even called Mardi Gras. It was a thing where, like Ross say, it was New Orleans and Mobile, Alabama was the intake for this land. So you had to come there in order to get into the land. So when newcomers would come to the land, we would throw them, like, you know how in Hawaii when they get off the plane, they have a whole bunch of people be out there dancing, welcome you to Hawaii, put like little flowers around your neck, you know, all that type of thing. So it was that type of thing down in New Orleans. And so when the French came in 1669 and they landed in Brown Mobile, the natives there celebrated them landing, welcomed them to the land. But we didn't know they was gonna be some suckers, right? But we welcomed them to the land. And then so what they did is, being that it was already a Christian holiday in these the French, they were not Pentecostal, they were I think of their denomination in a minute. You know, the French, the Huguenots, they were
Orthodox Christians.
Nah, it was another name, not Orthodox Christians. They the one that pretty much did the King James Bible, the 66.
Protestant.
Yeah, they Protestants. Okay, so the Protestants came, they landed in 1699, and then when just so happened the day they was landing, it was already a holiday that the Christians celebrate for Lent and for the Fat Tuesday, where they get rid of the fat meats, right? For like a certain type of holiday, right? So when they were landing, that was happening. So they just correlated it with what the natives were doing and just made it a celebration. The French made it into a celebration and started calling it Mardi Gras. But we had already, like Rod said, we had already been doing that thousands of years before the French came over here. Well, for the Africans, everybody that was coming over here, as far as visiting our land.
Look, King, the new production, so that's why the Hawaiians got it from us. The original Hawaiians is us.
That's right. That's right. What?
We got displaced down there. Like they annexed. They didn't do a vote for Hawaii. No. They didn't do a treaty for Hawaii. They annexed. That means they took that.
Yeah.
And persecuted the royal family that was governing the island. They not getting no pass on Hawaii.
No.
The Hawaiian people is some of the tribes that came to the mainland. Some of the Maori tribes that came to the mainland to go fight in the Gullah Wars in Florida.
Right.
And this is why you got a lot of us that look like the royal family of Hawaii. All of the royal families throughout the South Pacific, we used to intermarry our royal families together. Right. And then all of the royal families from the other side of the ocean, of the Atlantic, the eastern seaboard did the same. Mm-hmm. If you look up the Chinese road, it goes right through Mexico. right? Because it was such a large influx of Chinese that used to come in with the princess or whoever was coming over here to marry the chief,
Mm-hmm.
right? They would just send them, they send dowries of servants, right? Over here, all servants is released once they made a member of the tribe. We don't keep slaves. The ones who want to stay and be of service is welcome, but we have to compensate them with food and clothing and shelter. This is why they keep saying that we already had slaves. We had no slaves.
No.
Everybody was family. We lived by the one family concept. They was trying to break that up with divide and conquer. And this is why they made the grave distinction in separating the Aztecs, Mayans, and Incas, which is all the same people at different times under different cultural influence.
That's right.
Right? The old Mississippians is a continuation of the same people.
That's right.
Right? So when I say the old Mississippians was first, that's because they came off the old blood.
That's right.
We know old blood is the original blood of the human.
That's right.
That's not a secret. Been scientifically proven. We know the A and B and the derivatives thereof all came after the old blood. It don't make us better than them. It just tells you that we was the original. It's called omega level mutant energy in anime. It's there for a reason. So the omega blood is the mama line mitochondrial O blood. You got a positive line and a negative line, but it's the only universal donor to all other lines because it's the original, it's the template, the blueprint. And I don't even like talking about blood types, but it's necessary for you to understand that a lot of the historical information they gave us, they told us the story upside down and backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes it so difficult to reconstruct us from the past because of something called a sacred drift. Shout out Pleasant Bay.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Rob. So do you because I know that the U.S. Military overthrew the last she was the empress. She was a Nubian over Hawaii. That was like that was like just recently in the 1900s, I think.
I think it was in the 50s.
Yeah.
Could have been a little earlier, but I remember when they went in there, she was like, what are y'all doing? She said, oh, we taking this.
Yep.
It was all financed by the Dole family, who ended up becoming the larger exports from Hawaii of the Dole pineapple.
Wow.
The Hawaiian Wars sometimes are referred to as the Pineapple Wars because they was trying to take the indigenous farming produce. We used to already trade pineapples and sugars from and sweets plants that grew in Hawaii. We was already trading them with that stuff.
Yeah.
In Mesoamerica. That ain't new.
Yeah.
So that's why they sent warriors, and that's how they got caught with their pants down. We didn't expect the Spanish to go around South America, De Soto, and launch his assault on the South Pacific. But then they tell you it's a fairy tale in the story of Califia. It's the same story.
Yeah. They attacked these guys, man. They came at us in all different types of ways. But they said everything that we told them, everything that we said about Trump. I told y'all, wean yourself off the government. I said all this because they going out of business. They are business. Trump is the liquidator. He's closing everything out. He's closing the gap. So now people just saying, this is the part right here, Rod. This is what I wanted to ask you about the Trump thing. Now, I told them about Project 2025. I put the stuff out before Trump even came president. And then look, people was attacking me saying Trump said that he ain't with Plan 2025. He ain't with that. And I told him, I said, man, politicians gotta lie. And in order to be a good politician, you gotta be a good liar, right? And then now Trump, I think it was like 2 days ago, Trump just signed over the Plan 25. But they say it won't be activated until 2028. I think that's what I heard. But he signed it. But everybody was going after me saying that Trump never said that. He you know what I'm saying? He signed it. So what's your thing on that, Rod?
Hold on. Pastor Gabriel say Dolo the Pilot Man is all I'm gonna say on God. Shout out to Dolo the Pilot Man. That's my dude. Man, I love to listen. Love to listen to him. That's my guy.
I've been on the show with Dolo.
Yeah. So look, we already went over the National Guard have to come in to get rid of the police. We went over that already. Mm-hmm. So now you see National Guard being deployed under the pretenses of ISIS. It still got to be deployed no matter what they call them. Because you got to get rid of the police, so the stage got to be set for that. Mm-hmm. Right? Also told them about curfew. Detroit just put a curfew in place. So I told you, tell your children if they put the curfew in place, abide by the curfew, because they're going to have a lot of Manchurian candidates working curfew patrol. A guy just got shot in I think it was somewhere close around here, running from the police in the middle of the night. The police, the reports say that he had his hands up and the police shot him anyway. But the thing being is, we already told y'all this was going to happen, not because there's foresight in the form of prophecy, but it's foresight in knowing what need to be done for the government to shift back to the tribes. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. We had to see everything going out that we've seen coming in. And somebody has to secure the land when the power is being transferred. Right? We showed you in the FEMA document how the tribes was involved with the continuity of government. We showed it to you. It's on the face of the document. We also went over the Indigenous Rights Act to show you that if we follow our tribal ways, they have to respect it even if they don't like it.
Right.
Right? We went over both Indigenous Rights Act. We covered all that. We covered where we was at in all of the processes up to now. We had end game the shutdown of the continuity process. So now they setting the stage to leak or to expose all of the secret information. This is what we see it now. We already went over all this. The ones who's asking those questions, they coming in and they haven't seen the prior information, and they coming in without knowing that we've already went over this stuff in intimate detail.
Yeah, 10,000
receipts. Yeah, with receipts.
And I got a whole playlist called "Pump for Trump." Why don't you? So all you guys that want, if you out there, you want to pump for Trump, we got a whole playlist called "Pump for Trump," where me and Rod broke down everything about that he just said about Trump is in that playlist. So matter of fact, one of the guys that asked that question, I sent him the playlist. I say, you want to know about Trump? We already did all that. Here you go. Drop the whole playlist on with 50 videos. And,
look, when we do these live, when we've already covered something, the only thing that take us back to cover it again is the questions of the audience.
Yeah. So we got no problem covering it. But like I say, Trump is now. This is another question about Trump. The word is going out that Trump saying that he the last president and that he ain't going to be no more election after the next election. He ain't going to be no election next. Is what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think? Well, I don't think it's going. Well, it shouldn't be another election. It really should have been another election after 1999. But they've been really running as a running the ship.
It's called a rogue state.
Yeah, it's rogue. That's what it is. That's right. Hey, drop your questions in the chat, man. I got another question for you, Rod. Let me see. Let me get my list pulled back up right here. On these questions that they asked, I got the Trump question. Boom, we got that one. All right, telepathic abilities, linguistics. That's one another thing they asked. They said, okay, so sometimes when people say like you thinking about somebody, boom, they call you. You going out, you walk outside, say I'm thinking about somebody, you walk outside, they pulling up at your house. So what type of we know it's telepathic ability, but could you go in on that particular resonance and how it
You posted me going into that couple the last live I did on Instagram when the sister was telling us about her candle ritual and how she got a response, and I explained the mechanics to it.
yeah.
So we already covered that information in recent information, but all telepathic connections is established through a heart-to-heart sympathetic link. The information is translated from prefrontal lobe, where you have something called mirror cells, under the pretenses of I am you and you are me, meaning that the sympathetic link open and we both have a mutual affection for each other. We can communicate using the mirror cells in the prefrontal lobe. It becomes a projection of frequency like a radio broadcast, but it's only directed to the one person that you directed it to. I don't know what you mean by erasement prescriptions, Elder.
Yeah, and because you be more fair use. It says, how can we overcome erasement prescription?
I don't know what you're talking. I never heard that term.
Yeah, it's my first time. I don't know. I don't think she's talking about medicine prescription. Is she?
It sounds like to me she's talking about somebody got a hit on them and she trying to escape it.
Yeah, like it sounds like some alchemy down there. Like, yeah. It sound like somebody witchcraft,
I can't answer that question because it's not clear enough. The understanding of what she's talking about not clear enough.
Maybe she'll drop it again.
The Fed has already been closed, which I don't know. It's already been in the news papers, but it wasn't on the broadcast news. The U.S. Treasury is in charge of the finances now, and the headquarters is moved to an Indian reservation outside Reno, Nevada. Most of us don't know that. Why would they put it on the reservation? Let that sink in.
Hey, shout out Brother Love. That's one of my teachers, Brother Love, right there. Brother Love, man.